In this research summaries passage, researchers were testing how different pulse repetition rates, or PRR rates, made by male frogs affected the behavior of female frogs, and how close they moved to speakers that had a specific pulse repetition rate, or PPR rate. For number 30, as the alternative PRR was increased from 25 hertz to 175 hertz over the course of the experiment, the percent of frogs moved within 2.5 centimeters of the speaker playing the alternative PPR was doing what? So as we went from 25 to 175 here's our percent of frogs within 2.5 centimeters. Well, it goes up, it increases, then it decreases. So our answer for there was H for number 30. For 31, suppose that in additional trials each gravid frog had been exposed to the mean PRR and the alternative PRR of 140 hertz. The percent of frogs that would have moved within 2.5 centimeters of the speaker playing the alternative PRR would most likely have been closest to which of the following. So the alternative of 140 hertz, if you look at figure 2, 140 hertz, you go up, and if you kind of follow that trend there, you would get somewhere around 22% of frogs. So 31 was B. 32 is saying by marking the male frogs as part of the procedure, for obtaining 60 recordings, which of the following outcomes was the researcher trying to avoid? If you look back in the passage, so they recorded these advertisement calls from the male frogs, and it says this procedure was repeated with other frogs from the same population until 60 recordings were obtained, each from a different frog. So the researcher wanted variety here. So recording a particular male frog only once, which would shift the mean PRR of the population away from the PRR of that frog, because then you would have some diversity there. For 33, do the results of the experiment support the researcher's hypothesis? Well, we've got to look at what that hypothesis was. The researcher said that, or hypothesized that, a greater percent of female frogs would be attracted to a call with a PRR equal to the mean. Now the mean, according to figure 2, was 100, and if you follow the trend, we have the highest percentage of frogs within 2.5 centimeters at the mean. So yes, that did support the hypothesis. Which of the following statements best describes the gravid frog studying experiment? So for number 34, you need to look. It mentioned that the female frogs were the ones moving towards the call, and that the 25 gravid frogs were carrying unfertilized eggs. So we have females carrying unfertilized eggs, so that was H. And for 35, at the start of each trial of the experiment, the gravid frog was most likely placed. Well, if you look at the diagram, so here is the arena, they called it, and the frog was placed in the center, so it was halfway between the speakers that were having the different calls. And so since there's 1.8 meters in width, you would have the frog right in the center. Well, right in the center would make it so you're 0.9 meters, or 1.8 divided by 2, from each speaker. So you're halfway in the middle of 1.8 meters, which would make you 0.9 meters from each speaker.